How does knowing these three factors help me during a crisis? The simple answer: knowing these three factors improves our ability to intervene on behalf of others and ourselves. A deeper understanding: intervening on behalf of others. In February 2021, I received a call from my good friend William. He started the call by saying, "Jenny, you taught me the three factors that put someone at the greatest risk for suicide, and I'm concerned about you." He then said, "I know you've been in extreme distress because of your divorce. I haven't heard from you in almost 2 weeks, which makes me think you're isolating yourself. So tell me, what are you thinking? What do you believe?" I sat quietly for a moment with tears streaming down my cheeks. After what felt like forever, I said, "I'm not okay. I don't even think my girls need me at this point." William asked if he should come over, but I said no because it was late and he lived nearly 45 minutes away. He then said, "Okay, then I'm going to stay on the phone with you." William has always been someone I greatly value and love. He was someone who had been going through his own divorce and had been going in and out of suicidal episodes, which is why I would have never thought to call him. I didn't want to add to the challenges he was already facing, but in that moment, the way he presented the three factors, I knew that he understood and I knew that I could tell him the truth. He was correct. I was going through extreme distress as a result of my divorce, and I was isolating myself because I didn't feel I could be around others without talking about what was going on. And yet I didn't want to talk about it because I didn't want to cause any of our friends to feel like they had to choose between my husband and me. However, because I process out loud, not talking about it was adding to my distress and causing me to feel even more alone. After saying that he was going to stay on the phone with me, William acknowledged my need to process out loud, and he gave me permission to talk about everything. In doing so, he pulled me out of my isolation, which alleviated my feelings of extreme distress. By simply staying on the phone with me and offering me an outlet to process what I was going through, while also providing me reminders that I was loved, William helped me shift back to believing that my daughters did need me and that I was deeply loved, both of which brought me back to center and allowed me to feel stable and secure long before the end of our conversation. Intervening on behalf of ourselves. In June 2021, I found myself lying on the bedroom floor, questioning my very existence. I had recently been diagnosed with COVID and forced into isolation for several days. My physical symptoms had started to improve, but nothing could have prepared me for the unexpected onset of being suicidal. Curled up in a ball, crying over the despair that had been consuming me, I once again found myself thinking that not even Kaylee and Grace needed me. My heart felt empty and my entire being ached as intense thoughts of suicide flooded my mind. I felt paralyzed by the never-ending stream of visions of how I would die. I was crying so hard that I could barely breathe. It had been 22 years since I'd lost my dad to suicide, but I never stopped talking to him or asking him for guidance, especially when I needed it most. Overwhelmed with fear, my voice trembled in desperation as I whispered, "Dad, please help me. I am begging you. Please. I can't do this alone. Please help me." It was then that something truly beautiful happened. My bedroom had been dark and cold, but the sun suddenly poured in through the window, penetrating me with its comforting warmth, and my dad was there sitting next to me. He lifted me up and lovingly held me in his arms. His presence was so strong that I instantly felt safe and supported. I began crying even harder as I buried myself into him. Eventually, I calmed down and my breathing matched his slow and steady pace. This was my safe space throughout my entire childhood, nestled into him, listening to the rhythm of his heartbeat. Nothing could ever hurt me with his arms wrapped around me. He gently brushed my hair from my face, and I could hear his words so clearly. "Jenny, you were just in California last week having an amazing adventure. You were dreaming of all the possibilities that are yet to come. You have an extraordinary life, but your body is sick right now. Your body and your mind are compromised, but not defeated. You are strong. You will get through this." My eyes filled with tears as I took in what he was saying, and I could feel an energy shifting inside of me. I sat there resting my head on my dad's shoulder like I had done so many times as a child. I felt absolute peace in that moment, and I knew that what he was telling me was true. My body was sick with COVID, but I was okay. It wasn't long before he was gone, but rather than feeling sad over the empty space that now existed where he'd just been, I embraced the warmth of the sunshine, knowing that it was my reminder that he is always with me. I felt loved and grateful to be alive. I felt empowered, capable, and strong. I remained sitting on my bedroom floor in the patch of sun that had brought me such comfort. I looked out the window at the beautiful blue sky, and with what might have sounded like a hint of disbelief, I quietly said out loud, I'm okay. I've not been well, but I'm okay, and I'm getting better. Saying it out loud seemed to give me even more strength and a belief in myself that I had been lacking just a short time before. And then, with conviction and a smile on my face, I said, I have freaking COVID, but I'm okay. And even though I was sitting there all alone, I began processing out loud. With clear awareness and understanding, I said, I've been feeling suicidal because I felt extreme distress over the fact that I felt like total shit, incapable of maintaining my normal workout routine and spending so much time alone. But I'm starting to feel better, and I can probably even do a small workout today. And even though I hate being alone, I have to remind myself that it isn't because I'm unwanted or unloved. It's because I have COVID. I've been isolating myself because I care enough about the people around me that I want to protect them. But it won't be long before I can be around them again. And of course, Kaylee and Grace still need me. But more important than them needing me, they love me. I know they do. And even though I might doubt it sometimes because they are teenagers and I've had my own insecurities and the fear of having the same toxic relationship with them that I had with my own mom, it's not the same. I'm not my mom. I am the mom I always wanted. And I have been intentional about creating a loving relationship between us. The more I talked, the more energized about life I felt, and the more at peace I became. I eventually fell silent, but continued to sit in the sun and think about everything I've learned over the years. I thought about how easy it's been to get lost in the darkness and blame myself for being suicidal, which has only ever intensified my heartache and pain. I thought about how I've known this for years, and yet when I've been in that dark place, I would always forget that it isn't my fault that I'm there. Rather than remembering that it is simply letting me know that something is wrong, I would feel defeated by my desperate yet unsuccessful attempts to escape the darkness, while also feeling frustrated and angry with myself for allowing it to happen again. Until this moment, I'd always relied on the help of others to pull me out of being suicidal. But having this experience and being able to come out of it on my own showed me that it is possible to pull myself out. I had been a trained crisis counselor and public educator on suicide prevention, and yet when I became suicidal with postpartum depression in 2004, I had missed all the signs I'd been taught to look for. As a result, I've spent years making excuses for myself and even blaming myself for not being able to pull myself out of the darkness. For nearly 20 years, I had believed and taught people that when we are suicidal, we are incapable of helping ourselves. I believed this was because what I had been taught to look for at that time wasn't effective. It was too vague and too much to think about. But what I know about suicide now changes all of that. Understanding the three factors helped me to identify them, what was causing them, and how to navigate them. I didn't like going through this experience, but I'm grateful for it because it showed me that I can help myself even when I'm experiencing dark moments. And I have many times since then. The difference has been that it no longer scares me, and I no longer feel desperate to escape it. Instead, I sit in it and allow it to move through me, knowing that it is raising my awareness of the fact that something in my environment or something within myself is in need of attention. What have the three factors that put someone at risk of suicide taught you? The simple answer: one, sometimes all a person needs is someone to pour love into them in order to shift from suicidal to thriving. Two, with awareness and understanding, we can intervene on behalf of ourselves. Three, early intervention is key. However, suicide is no different than any other illness. Some cases are too chronic or too severe to save everyone. Four, there is spontaneous distress and ongoing distress. With either, it is important to understand the connection between our physical, mental, and emotional health and to be aware of and utilize self care tools.